Hi, today I thought I'd show you a bit about how I do the encaustic work. I've got the frying pan on with the paint in, and I'll show you how to do all of that. I've started some already, so I'll walk you through the process. Okay. Just move the camera so you can see what's going on. That's the frying pan there it's just an old electric frying pan. So I've got water in the bottom of there. In here, in this one, this is where I melt my crystals, which this is the Daymar crystals. You just get them from any art shop. So they're not very expensive. I can't remember how much it was. But anyway, that you melt that first, and that takes quite a while to melt. It needs a really high melting point. So I don't put water in the frying pan when I'm melting this because it needs to get really hot. So you melt that first. You need two. I use a little half a cup. I think it's a quarter cup measure. So I put 2/4, obviously 1/2, into the pot, and when that's melted, then I put in my beeswax, which is here. So then I put my beeswax in, which looks like I buy it in a big block. That's the beeswax, and it looks like that. And then I just put it in the freezer. It comes in like a Chinese container. You can buy the unbleached pellets of beeswax, but they're really expensive. And I quite like this sort of, you know, the natural, really natural product. So, sorry, the pellets are bleached. This is unbleached, pure beeswax. So that comes in like a Chinese container, a square. I put it in the freezer, which makes it a bit brittle, and then I can get the rolling pin to it and just bash it, you know, bash it up and make it into bits. And then I put eight of those quarter cups of that into the wax, into the pot, this little pot here. And then when that's all melted up, mixed together, and you know, nice and mixed up, then I pour it into little cap tins. So that's an old one. The colour's sort of gone in that, but that's an old green that I had in there. And then I put water into the bottom of the frying pan and just put it on a low heat. This frying pan is a bit, doesn't really want to go low. Anyway, it's either off or bubbling crazy. So then I put the mixed up Daymar crystals and wax. I pour into a pot, and then I just get my oil paints. So whatever oil paints you've got, and you only really need about that much, the end of your little nail, about that much, to make your colour. Really, it's really an economical way to paint. So once you've got your oil paint and your wax mixed in your little cap tins, you can then take your, I'll start on this one because this one I haven't really done a lot on. This is a first layer, so I've just put some, what I did was I painted this with oil paint first. So all I did yesterday, this was the last one I did before I went to bed, I just put some different coloured blues on. That's all I did. So that's the start of, that's how I started these ones. So I think they're virtually almost finished. Oops. So, but yeah. So I'll show you now. What I do is, I'll just move my camera right over to the, so there we go. The liquid wax in there, and you just paint it onto your surface. This one is really nice. This is a phthalo blue that I put and mixed up. The only problem is you get so many brushes going here, there and everywhere. This was a like an aqua green colour I mixed. And I've got my favourite. Ooh, lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm trying to make it so you can see it and do it at the same time. It's a bit tricky. So basically just putting some on. You can just make any shapes you want, because in a minute you're actually going to, a bit tricky this, in a minute you're actually going to melt this with a heat gun. I'll move that up a bit, that's better. Okay, and I've got a really gorgeous colour here, Prussian blue. Ooh, I love Prussian blue. Where is the Prussian blue? That's it there. Just give them a mix when you come back to them, when they've been, because obviously when you turn this off the whole thing goes hard, and that's the other great thing, you don't ever need to wash your brushes because you just leave it in there, and the brushes go hard as well, so you just leave the whole thing like as is, and it's, you can carry it anywhere, take it anywhere. I take this to college and do this in the studio there. It doesn't really matter what you do, I don't think. I could just, I mean, I went and did a course in Sydney. Oh, we're bubbling again. And so I'm basically just learning as well. I'm just trying different ideas, trying different ways of what will happen if I do this. What if I put spray paint on them and then melt it? What if I rub paint into them? What if I put oil paint on the bottom? So I'm trying different things to see what will happen. But basically, okay, I've got sort of a layer on there now. Now what happens is, I'll just move my camera again, because I've got to get over here. Now, there we go, I think that's better. So I've got my heat gun here, and I just put it on low. You can see the wax will start to melt. This is called fusing. So basically you do it till it glistens, and that is then adhered to the canvas. It's stuck. Well, actually you shouldn't ever really do it on canvas. I'm doing this because I'm just doing some small ones because I just want to try things out. I've got some board. Maybe you should do it on wood or plywood, sheets of plywood, plywood is so cheap, which I've got some of, but I haven't actually cut it up yet and got it to into the sizes I want. So I'm melting it. This series I'm doing is on satellite mapping, so I actually melt it a bit more than you're supposed to because I want the colours to run into each other. I want it to blend, I want it to mix, I want to create holes. If you put it on high, it flows it around a bit more. Obviously it's quicker as well, a lot more noisy. Now you've got it to that stage, so obviously you're going to let it dry a little bit before you go any further.